Alright, what's up YouTube? HPJ here, and I'm coming at you guys with my next deck profile, and this time we'll be taking a look at Simorgh, the Bird of Kings. So if you guys are really excited about Simorgh, well, I'm just as surprised. I'm just as excited as you guys are, because we have a Link monster that works really well with all variations of Winged Beast decks and archetypes. So, I hope you guys do enjoy this video, and without further ado, let's get started. So, my deck list lineup is as follow. I got 3 copies of Simorgh, Bird of Beginnings, 3 copies of Simorgh, Bird of Bringing, 1 copy each of Simorgh, Bird of Calamity, 1 copy of Simorgh, Bird of Protection, 2 copies of Dark Simorgh, 2 copies of Simorgh of Darkness, and 2 copies of Simorgh, Bird of Ancestry. Then I'm rocking 2 copies of Mega Ryza, 2 copies of Miss Valley Apex Avian, and 2 copies of the Barrier Statue of Stormwinds. Then to follow that, let's go into the spells. I'm rocking 3 copies each of Elboris, the Sacred Lands of Simorgh, 3 copies of Simorgh's Onslaught, 3 copies of Simorgh's Repulsion, 2 copies of Trade-In, 2 copies of Pot of Extravagance, and 2 copies of the Monarch Storm Force. Then for the trap cards, I'm rocking 3 copies of Harpie's Featherstorm and 2 copies of Anti-Spell Fragrance. Then for the extra deck, I'm running 3 copies of Simorgh, Bird of Kings, 3 copies of Harpie Conductor, 3 copies of Great Fly, 1 copy of Beryl Sword Dragon, 1 copy of Apollonius, the Bow of the Goddess. Then 1 Nightmare Unicorn, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Nightmare Cerberus, and 1 Firefighting Darumidal. So that is pretty much it for the main and the extra. So to go over it all, your main key points to this deck, of course, is that a lot of your monsters are going to have their normal summons be the big focus. Especially because of the fact that we're going to be focusing on not only these normal summons of these little birds, but also the summon of these big birds. So we're going to take advantage of Elboris and its ability, as well as the additional effects of Simorgh's Onslaught and Simorgh's Repulsion. For these 2 cards have the ability to remove themselves from the graveyard to reduce the levels of Winged Beast monsters in your hand. By revealing a Winged Beast monster in your hand, and then all monsters with the same name as that monster have their level all Winged Beast monsters for the rest of the turn that are in your hand will have their level reduced by 1 if they share the same name. So you get a lot more of an easier summon for a lot of your bigger birds, especially when it comes to birds like Ryza, Simorgh, or Apex Avian, because you can see the lineup. Most of my monster lineup is these high-level winged beasts, and that's simply just due to the fact that you have so much access to a large portion of recovery cards, or cards that allow you to summon higher level monsters from your hand without such a sacrifice. Also to note with that, we take a look at the Monarch Storm Force, and this card pretty much just tells you you can't special summon from your extra deck if you use this card. But for the most part, you're going to use this card to tribute summon for your tribute summon monsters by using your opponent's monsters as tribute. So monsters that are unaffected by the card effects can easily be a great target for this card's ability as it gets around that. So then you can summon cards like Ryza, the Mega Monarch, Apex Avian. You can even dabble in Simorgh, Bird of Ancestry, and some other support from there. The main purpose at this point is to just get these birds on the field and remove cards, put a lot of their dominant presence onto the board, and then smack your opponent for heavy damage. Simorgh, Bird of Beginnings, and Simorgh, Bird of Bringings are going to be your biggest aspects to it, because these are the monsters going to help you get your additional normal summons of your Simorgh monsters, or get the ability to search for a lot of your Simorgh cards and put them into your hand. While I had to take a drop on Simorgh, Bird of Calamity and Simorgh of Protection, only because of the fact these 2 birds take a normal summon for their effects to really be useful. Other than that, just like the other lower Simorgh monsters, you're special summoning them from your graveyard when your opponent has nothing in their spell or trap card zone. And then while they're if they're removed from the field, they're banished instead. I've been trying to work in a way to get them back from banish, but the only monster I can really think of at the time is Fighting Darumidal, who just works well with Beast Warrior, and Winged Beast decks, in addition to, its additional effects of gaining 100 attack for each Winged Beast or Beast Warrior on the board. Its ability to pop a spell and trap card on both player sides of the field. And then when it destroys a monster by battle, you can add a Winged Beast monster, Winged Beast or Beast Warrior monster that's either banished or in your graveyard back to your hand. So it gives a lot of the other cards still, there's flexibility to being played and having a lot of the combos still going on, thanks to a combination of this card. Now, we look at the spell cards themselves, and like I said, Simorgh's Onslaught and Simorgh's Repulsion are two of the big support cards because of their ability to reduce the levels. But on their own, Repulsion is a one-sided giant Trunade that has the ability to, that you discard a Winged Beast and you turn off your opponent's cards in their spell and trap cards going back to their hand. So that gives a lot of your Winged Beasts that are level 4 or lower the ability to be special summoned to the field from the grave. You have Simorgh's Onslaught, which helps you discard a Winged Beast to search your deck for 2 Simorgh monsters with different attributes and add to your hand. The only downside that I do have with this card is I wish Simorgh had level 4 or lower dark attributed monsters that you can search for that would really help the deck itself flourish. Because then you can have aspects of both wind and dark and take advantage of what Simorgh was originally trying to do in the first place, which was combine wind and dark in one section and give them that boost that they both needed in terms of their Winged Beast aspect. It was kind of the whole thing of what brought Harpies and Blacklings together, because you could combine them with Simorgh, with Dark Simorgh, and take advantage of anti-spell in Harpie's Hunting Ground. Speaking of Dark Simorgh, that's literally the reason why this bird and anti-spell fragrance are still around, is because of their deadly combination. Simorgh being able to force your opponent to set cards on the field. I mean, not to be able to set cards on the field means they have to actually play them, which means you're locking them out of their traps. When you flip the anti-spell fragrance, you're locking your opponent out of their spell cards. So in the combination, your opponent can't set any spells, your opponent has to rely on their monster effects, and most trap cards have to be set before activated. The only exceptions to that are Red Reboot and Infinity Impervious, because one says you have to control no cards in hand. The other one is only reacting to trap cards, and then you have to pay off your life points to even trigger that card's effect. So, in case in point, you'll have to force your opponent to get to negate the anti-spell, but at that point with Red Reboot, they're forcing you to go get the other one. So that helps you out in the long run. And then, of course, we have the extended force of the Barrier Statue of Stormwind. This is actually one of the combo pieces that you use with Simorgh, the Bird of Kings, and its ability, which I'll get into in just a moment, in combination with the Barrier Statue of Stormwind. Then you have the removal effects of both Simorgh, Bird of Ancestry. You have the removal effects of Ryza, and you have the negation between Apex Avian and Simorgh of Darkness. Next to that, I think the only other card to talk about is Harpie's Featherstorm. The other cards to talk about, Harpie's Featherstorm, and getting your bonus monster effects, because you have tons of Winged Beast monsters. You can activate this card effect. If you controlled Harpie Conductor, because she is a Harpie monster, you can activate the card from your hand, so that gives you a little leeway there. Then you have Trade-In and Pot of Extravagance, just to help you get some additional draws. You have the ability, of course, of Ibores to give you that additional normal summon. You reveal a Winged Beast, and then, reduce levels of Winged Beast monsters for the turn. Or one less tribute of Winged Beast monsters for the turn. So it helps you get a lot of those bigger birds onto the board. And then those additional normal summons of Simorgh monsters while this card is face up on the field once a turn. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the main deck. And now we go into the extra and combos. We talk about Simorgh, the Bird of Kings. So, this monster needs 2+ monsters, including the Winged Beast, which is not too hard. While this monster is on the field, if a Simorgh monster would be destroyed by card effect or battle, you can destroy another Simorgh. If this card would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can destroy another Simorgh card instead to keep it going. During the end phase of the turn, you can special summon one Winged Beast monster from your deck whose level is equal to or less than the total number of unoccupied spell and trap card zones on the field. So what you do in combination with this card is you go and help get the Barrier Statue of Stormwind, because of its ability to force both players to summon nothing but Winged Beast to summon nothing but wind attributed monsters. You can go get Miss Valley Apex Avian, so that gives another additional monster that you can draw out from that can negate cards. And of course, the big array of monsters that you have attached to it. You have you have Simorgh of Darkness, you have Dark Simorgh, to just really just float in their negate or to float in their stall out. You can try this monster in a ton of other Winged Beast decks as well, just to get a lot of their flow and coverage going on. Then, of course, we have Harpie Conductor, just another Harpie monster that has a lot of general float within the Winged Beast or Wind attributed decks. She can destroy a spell or trap card in this if she is to be destroyed. And if a Harpie monster you control would be returned to the hand by a card effect, you can select one such summon monster your opponent controls and return that card to hand. I don't think this is ever going to be a thing in the Simorgh variation of this deck. But in Harpies, it's just, that's one of the good combos, one of the combo card effects you can use with her. But for the most part, you're using her in terms of Harpie's Featherstorm, because she's a Harpie, and you can activate it from your hand while you control a Harpie monster on the field. And she is a Winged Beast, so when Winged Beast monsters, so the effects will go through there even more. Great Fly for the additional 500 attack and defense in its recovery effect. Of course, we had to throw in somebody nice, big, and strong to defend us, so Barrel Sword Dragon is an option. The Bow of the Goddess also makes her appearance as well for some easy negations based on the number of monsters that she uses for her Link summon. And trust me, she will not go down without a fight. And I think she also gains attack equal to the number of monsters used for her summon times 800. And then those will also account to the number of times she can negate stuff. You have the Nightmare Package, Unicorn to bounce stuff, Phoenix to destroy spells and traps, and Cerberus to destroy monsters. And if we haven't already talked about Daruma Doll, pretty much just destroy spells and traps on both player sides of the field, get Being Beast or Beast Warrior monsters that are banished back to your hand after it destroys a monster by your opponent's monsters by battle. And then, of course, the other additional effect of it gaining 100 attack for each Beast Warrior, and or Winged Beast on the field. So that pretty much just sums up all the things that I need to talk about here about the Simorgh deck. So thanks everybody for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will catch you guys next time. HBJ signing out. Take care.